What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm down at Kia. We're going to take a look at this 2022 Kia Sorento SX Prestige. So huge shout out to them for providing this SUV for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. I'll have all that information down in the description below. The Sorento that you see behind me is finished off in everlasting silver, and it has an MSRP just over $44,000. So starting off today's review, we're going to take a look at what powers this Sorento. This model here has the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine paired to the 8-speed dual clutch transmission. It pumps out 281 horsepower around 5,800 RPM and 311 pound-feet of torque around 1,700 RPM. This model here is front-wheel drive, however all-wheel drive is available. It weighs in right around 3,800 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 right around 7 seconds up to its top speed of 131 miles an hour. And it also has a fuel capacity of 17.7 gallons, and you can expect to see around 22 miles per gallon in the city and 29 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 110.8 inches. Its overall length is 189.4. It has a width of 74.8, a height of 66.7, and the ground clearance for the front wheel drive model measures in right around 6.9 inches. So as we move on to the exterior now for this 22 Kia Sorento, let's start up front here with the all-new Kia badge. So Kia redesigned this badge for the 21-year model, I believe, and I really like the update compared to the previous badging. You'll notice on this model too, there's an integrated forward-facing camera, nicely placed right up underneath the Kia badge. We have gloss black accents throughout the upper and the lower grille, with plenty of cutouts and a really nice design, so this will provide maximum cooling for that turbocharged engine. You'll also notice that this model comes with LED headlights and LED turn signals, along with the LED DRL. You'll notice that the headlights and the high beams have a triple beam design, and then we have the DRL/turn signal running on the lower section, and it blends in nicely with the surround for the grille, with the gloss black that you see right in the middle. So it's very nice how that is all integrated together. You'll also notice down in the lower section of the grille, we have fog lights on both sides, nicely integrated too, along with more gloss black and the parking sensors. It gives it a very nice front end design. We have a few lines coming down the hood just to add to that as well. And you'll also notice too, the lower section of the corner of the bumper there sticks out just a little bit to add some more flair to the design. As we work our way to the side profile now, you'll see the gloss black 20-inch wheels with a multi-spoke design to them. You can see the new Kia badge in the center wheel cap. Everything is pretty much blacked out on this model. You can see the lower side skirts, the side mirrors, which also have LED turn signals, and a camera underneath each one. I will show that camera system later on in today's video. This model also has the full panoramic roof, and you can see it has the optional roof racks too. You can see all of the gloss black surrounding the window trim. There's a line from the taillight that goes just above the door handles, underneath the side mirrors, all the way to the headlights, just to give it a great look. You'll see there's another gloss black trim piece underneath that side mirror as well. And then as we finish up in the rear, you'll see the body colored spoiler with gloss black trim pieces on both sides of the glass, just to tie it in nicely. The third brake light is mounted up there as well, along with the wiper blade, which is nicely tucked up underneath. This does have a backup camera. You'll see all the parking sensors in the gloss black portion of the bumper. We have some nice trim pieces just to break it up. You can see Sorento spelled out in the power liftgate. And this model also has a towing capacity right around 3,500 pounds. So it's a pretty practical SUV if you need to tow smaller trailers. But with the exterior out of the way, let's go ahead and check out the interior. You'll see in the key fob here, we have the new Kia logo, of course, and then on the side is lock and unlock. If you hold this button, that will open up the liftgate. And then with it locked right now and the key in my pocket, you'll see the side mirrors are folded in. As I approach the vehicle, they will automatically open up. I'll just push on this black button on the back side and that will automatically unlock it. And now we can get a look at this beautiful interior. It complements this exterior very nicely. You can see leather on the armrest there as well as on the backing. We do have brushed aluminum on the release handle. Really nice trim piece surrounding these seat adjustments. You'll see all the window controls and the side mirror adjustments. This model also has the 12-speaker Bose audio sound system. And you'll see there's a good amount of storage space down in the lower section of the door. And then as we work our way to the interior, you can see Sorento spelled out on the door sill. And now we can look at these beautiful white leather seats. They have a really nice pattern running down the insert, and these seats are also heated and ventilated too. And then down on the side, you can see all of the automatic controls. And so now it's time to take a look at this interior in more depth for the Kia Sorento. You can see I have the driver door all the way open. Definitely gives you a lot of room to enter and exit. As we look at the steering wheel now, you'll see it's completely covered in black leather with really nice stitching running along the inside. You can see the new Kia badge front and center, and we have some controls on both sides that we can use. In order to do that, we do need to start this up. You can see the aluminum engine start stop button over on the right side, and with my foot on the brake, it's time to start it up. And you'll see on this 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, there's a lot of information that we can go through. You'll see on the screen that it's on right now. Over on the left side is the miles per hour and the fuel gauge. On the right side is the tach and the engine temperature. And then right in the middle is all the information that we can go through utilizing these buttons over on the right side of the steering wheel, where you'll also notice the lane keeping assist as well as the distance pacing. We have different modes to go into, and then these will go through all of this information. So right now, if I scroll down, you can pull up driver information. You can also look at trip and averages as well as a timer. There's also the attention level. You can look at your tire pressure. So if I use a dial located down by the shifter, you can go through those different driving modes from comfort. You have eco, sport, and smart. And you'll also notice the gauge cluster change too, depending on the driving mode that you're in. As we work our way to the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see the Bluetooth controls as well as volume and tuning. We have the voice commands as well as mode for the stereo. This model also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. They're finished off in brushed aluminum and have a really nice design to them. And then last up for this digital gauge cluster, you'll also notice that you can see cameras from the side mirrors when you have your turn signal activated. So if I'm turning to the right, you can see if there's any cars right next to you, anything that would potentially be in a blind spot, and then same when you're turning left. I think that's a brilliant idea. If you're merging into traffic, you're on the highway, or even just in slower speed situations, you could even see curbs that are right next to you as well, and of course avoid those as needed. Really nice technology to see in the Sorento. As we work our way to the left side now, you can see this is how we can open up the lift gate. There's traction control as well as the lane keeping assist and dimmer switches for the gauges. We have one air vent with some really nice trim. And then as we work our way to the center, this is just over 10 inches for the center screen. It is a touchscreen system as well, and we have some buttons on both sides of it. But right now, if I just push on this home icon here, that will bring up a lot of different icons that you can go through. We have the map and the navigation, so I can pull that up in full screen so you can see all the graphics for that. You can look at your phone. There's a quiet mode. You also have the climate controls. You can go into your media. There's a lot of information that you can go through. And we have more of a calm screen here if you want to hide all of those icons. You can see the date and the time as well as part of the map there. And then you'll also notice we have physical buttons for power and volume for the radio. And then tuning is over on the far right. And then working our way below that, you'll see we have some climate control buttons. We have auto and off, of course. This does have a dual zone climate system, so we have those temperatures on both sides. And I really like the fact that all of these are not physical buttons. They are touch sensitive. So just by pushing on the fan speed there, you can see that adjust. We have some other controls surrounding that. You'll also notice we have really nice trim surrounding both air vents on each side. And then as we work our way down below, you'll see we have more piano black. If I open this up, you can see there's a lot of auxiliaries as well as a wireless charging port. That's over on the right side. You have plenty of room for your phone and other smaller items if you'd like to place them there. And as I mentioned earlier, this does have heated and ventilated seats. So we have those controls nicely laid out on both sides. As we work our way to the center area here, you'll see two cup holders along with a little bit of storage. And then looking at this leather wrap shifter, if I push on the release on the left side, I can go back into reverse, where you'll see the backup camera up here with the top down view on the right side. As I mentioned earlier, this does have a 360 camera system, so we have a lot of angles to go through. You can look at a top-down view if you're backing up to a trailer or you're in a parking spot, something like that. We can also pull up these side cameras so you can get that angle. And then if I put the vehicle into drive, now you can see the forward-facing camera with those same angles as well as guidelines for the wheel. So if you're pulling into a car wash or pulling into a parking space, you can see exactly where your wheels are. And again, we have that split camera angle from the side mirrors. Very cool to see that in this vehicle. And then behind that, you'll see the drive mode selector, which I already showed earlier. This does have a heated steering wheel. We have the auto hold assist as well as a downhill assist control. Over on the right side is the engine start stop feature. We do have a shortcut to the camera system, as well as being able to turn on and off the parking sensors with the electronic parking brake right in the middle. And then as we work our way to the center armrest now, if I open this up, you'll see there's a lot of storage for any items you need to place there, as well as this removable tray if you need to take that out of the way. And then working our way to the passenger side, you'll see the glove box there with plenty of space for all of that information. We'll take one last look at these seats. Very nice interior, especially against this exterior color. As I mentioned earlier, this does have a full panoramic moonroof. It goes all the way back almost to the third row there, so definitely provides a lot of light for the interior. And we have all those controls up in the center for the sunroof and the sunshade, as well as the dome lights on both sides. And so now it's time to work our way to the second row seating for the Sorento. You'll see the door panel is finished off just like up front. However, we do have an additional button. These are heated rear seats with 2 different settings, which is really cool to see. As you can tell, we have captain's chairs for the second row. We have the adjustable armrests. These seats move forwards and backwards. Of course, they recline and incline. We do also have a button down on the side, which will automatically move the seat forwards, giving you plenty of access into that third row, which we'll get to here soon. And so now at 5'10", it's time to hop in. I think the first thing that we'll talk about is these massive screens that you can see behind the driver's seat and the passenger seat. So we have a lot of technology. I'm not going to be able to go through all of this, of course, but you can see we have different apps that you can go into. You have different ways that you can mirror your screen, I think, so you can actually hook your phone up to this if you'd like to, select whatever device you're looking at. So this is really neat technology to see in the back, and the fact that it's built in, we have an HDMI there. You can go into a store setting if you have Wi-Fi connected, and then there's different settings that we can go in as well. Look at Bluetooth, display, general. There's a lot of things that you can configure, but it's really nice to see the fact that we have these screens. So if you have kids, they're in the back seat here, they can watch something or play a game, which is pretty cool. But aside from that, at 5'10", I have plenty of room with the front seat set at my height. You can see we have some storage nets behind both front seats as well. 2 air vents are right in the center. There's a USB and a 12-volt located down below. So now let's work our way to the third row seating for the Kia Sorento. You can also push this button here. So if you are in the back seat, that makes it easier, of course, than reaching down below. And again, at 5'10", now it's time to hop into the back, where you'll see I do have a little bit of room above my head. And you can see I don't have the seat all the way back, but I do have plenty of room if I needed this person to slide the seat up forwards just slightly. So you can have full-size adults in the third row of the Sorento, which is pretty impressive to see. You'll also notice over on this side here, we have a cup holder along with a little bit of storage and a USB. Same thing is over on the opposite side, where you'll also notice we can fold the second row just by pushing on these buttons. There's also a 12-volt if you need to use it. And then last up, it's time to take a look at the rear cargo area. So I'm just going to use the button on the key fob, and by holding that, you'll see the liftgate open up. There is a button up underneath Sorento that you can, of course, use as well. And you'll notice with the third row up, you still have a good amount of storage space to place any items you'd like to. And there's even hidden storage space up underneath the floor. So you can see some toolkits if you need a change of spare. And there's also a bin over on the left side there where you can place some items. You can easily fold these seats down just by pulling that latch. And with 2 hands, it's a little bit easier. But with both of these down, you can see there's a lot of storage space if you only have second row passengers there. And then when you fold all of these seats down, it really allows you to use this as a practical SUV and pack in whatever items you may have. And then you'll also notice again over on this right side here, if I push on this button, that will automatically fold down the second row. So it makes it very convenient if you're already back here. You'll notice there's a speaker also over on the driver's side there. And then with this power liftgate, you can close and lock the vehicle, or just push on the one on the left, it will automatically close. All right, so getting this 2022 Kia Sorento out on the road, honestly, I'm very blown away with this particular model. For the pricing of it, we have so much technology features that are available, as well as this very nice interior. There's a lot of very nice premium feeling materials, all of the brushed aluminum, the leather. Honestly, it's a great car for the value that I think. And Kia has definitely come a long way in the last few years, coming out with some very impressive vehicles. And while we're at a kind of a dead-end road here, I want to show you guys the 360 camera again. It's definitely very helpful to have that top-down view, because you can see just how far you're getting off the road there if you're on a tight area like this. But as far as maneuverability goes, very tight in the steering, so I may have had to go a little bit more just because it's a tight turn there. But very impressive. You can easily drive this in the parking lot, maneuver it as needed. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the power that this has to offer. I've been in comfort mode right now. Let's go to sport mode, where we see the gauge cluster change. And we do have these paddle shifters, so we can give it a little bit of gas here. Wow. Not even anything too crazy. We are up to speed, up to 8th gear there. So it's nice that this has power to it. Being a 3-row vehicle, if you have this packed full of people, or you even have a lot of storage, maybe have a smaller trailer on this, it has plenty of power to get up and go. You don't need anything too crazy, of course, for an SUV like this, but it's nice that the pedals are pretty responsive. They have a nice feel to them if you want to use them in your Sorento. And as we're at a four-way stop here, let's talk about visibility real quick. It is very easy to see in all directions. We have so much glass, so while this is a little bit longer with the 3 rows, wow, it's definitely easy to see. And again, just doing a small acceleration, very impressive to see. It's not a loud vehicle, of course. This is more of a family SUV. It doesn't have to be loud. It's very quiet on the interior. Even cars passing like that, as you've already seen in today's video, there's plenty of room for me in the 2nd row and even the 3rd row. I love seeing 3-row SUVs that actually have functional 3rd row seating. A lot of vehicles that I've personally been in or seen, the 3rd row is kind of an afterthought in most cases, in some vehicles where they're just really small seats. If you're in a pinch, you have some smaller kids with you, you can throw them in the back. Honestly, I could ride around town in that 3rd row if I really needed to be in the back. And so now switching over to the POV angle, coming up to this right-hand turn, hopefully the camera can see that camera system before I turn the steering wheel. And you can see the side of the road there, and if anything was next to you there, if there was a dip in the road or anything, you can clearly see that, which I think is a really nice feature. You don't have to worry about that blind spot, which is pretty much impossible to see unless you have that camera system. And this is a very smooth driving vehicle. I talked about how quiet it is on the interior, but even just coming around this right-hand turn, while it's not a performance SUV, it handles well, going for at a normal rate of speed there. And then we definitely have plenty of power to get back up to the speed limit there. Very impressive to see. But what do you think of the Kia Sorento? Look at this interior from the driver's seat. It's definitely a beautiful interior. Now we do have one trim level above this one, and basically the only difference is adding the all-wheel drive system. So it's still the SX Prestige, whether you want front-wheel drive or you want the all-wheel drive version, just depending on maybe where you live, the weather that you'll be driving in. If you need a little bit more grip, you can get the all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive here is going to have a little bit less ground clearance, but it does have better MPG over the all-wheel drive system. And so real quick, before we finish today's review, I want to check out the Smart Cruise system. So right now I'm going to get in behind this vehicle next to me just by using my turn signal. We can also look at any traffic that would be there. I can go ahead and activate this system now and control the distance that I want to be behind this vehicle. And now, just depending on how fast or how slow this car goes, I can also adjust the speed limit that I want to go. So I'm going to go all the way up to the speed limit, which is 45 miles an hour. So if the vehicle in front of me slows down, of course this vehicle will slow down without using the brake. And then if that vehicle speeds up, the Sorento will start to speed up, but it will be limited to the 45 miles an hour. So if the truck in front of me goes up to 55, this vehicle will stop at the set 45 miles an hour. And you can see I'm at the closest setting right now, so we are pretty far from that vehicle. We will go all the way down to 0 with traffic here coming to a complete stop here. We do have a red light. And so with my foot not touching the brake, look at that, all the way to a complete stop. Now I did have my foot there just in case, of course, but this will go all the way to a complete stop. And it's a really nice feature to have, especially in stop and go traffic. It makes it a lot easier to drive in some cases, but very cool to see that on the Sorento. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive, getting behind the wheel of this 2022 Kia Sorento SX Prestige. Once again, huge shout out to KIA for providing this vehicle for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. That link is down in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button if you'd like to stay up to date on our daily uploads. And I'll see you guys in the next video.